right, so we're back, and today we're going to be looking at something pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
ROSÉ's solo album.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And luckily for this deep dive, we have a really good interview with ROSÉ where she kind of opens up about everything.
It's a good one.
It is. And also some notes that like break down all the important parts. So it's going to be a really good one. And so what I found really interesting about this whole thing is like she really uses the album.
Right.
It's called R,
Yeah.
right? As a way to like explore her own growth.
Yeah.
You know, she's obviously part of BLACKPINK.
Yeah.
It's like this huge group.
Right.
And to kind of step out of that and find her own voice.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's like a
It is.
musical journal.
It is. It's like a therapy session.
Yeah.
Yeah. She even describes it as that.
Wow.
You can hear that vulnerability, especially in tracks like Gone. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, she's not shying away from like the pain of heartbreak. She's really exploring it.
Yeah. And it would have been easy to just stick with like
Totally.
that super polished pop sound.
For sure.
That BLACKPINK is known for.
Exactly.
But she went for something way more
raw and stripped back.
emotionally charged.
Yeah. And I think you can especially hear that in On the Ground.
Yeah.
Where you have this beautiful blend of like acoustic guitar and those soaring vocals that we love.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are so introspective.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's singing about chasing dreams and realizing that maybe what she was looking for
Right.
was within herself all along.
It's like she's deconstructing
The
the image of a pop star
Yeah.
and like revealing what's underneath
Yeah.
for someone who has achieved like
Global.
global fame
Yeah.
with BLACKPINK
With BLACKPINK. For sure.
to like turn around and create an album
Right.
that's so raw and honest.
Right.
That's a bold move. That's a bold move.
Yeah.
And even just that decision to go solo, to step away from the group, even if it was temporary.
Right.
That must have been huge.
Oh, yeah. She even said it was both liberating and daunting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what do you think made it so challenging?
Well, just imagine being part of like a massively successful group for like 8 years.
Right.
Constant touring, the intense choreography, the collaborative energy,
Yeah.
to then break away from that and like find your own fitting
Yeah.
creatively, personally.
Wow.
It's like learning to walk all over again.
Yeah.
Not just walk, but dance to your own rhythm.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah,
But that makes total sense.
it does.
It wasn't just about recording songs. It was about rediscovering who she was as an artist
exactly
outside the BLACKPINK
framework.
Yeah. And so this is where I think the influence of Bruno Mars comes in.
Yes.
It's so fascinating how she sought that out,
totally.
especially because she admitted to feeling like unsure of herself in the recording studio at first. Yeah. She mentioned how working with him was a real confidence booster.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like having like a mentor.
Yeah, a mentor in the studio.
But what's interesting is it wasn't just about like
It's a technical.
technical tips on singing or whatever.
It was a deeper exchange, I think.
Yeah, it seems like it was about like finding her artistic voice.
It was, remember what her producer said, Rosie, you're nailing this.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It wasn't just about like hitting the right notes.
Right.
It was about capturing the emotion,
Yeah.
the authenticity, the essence of who she is as an artist, and to have someone like Bruno Mars,
Right.
who is known for his incredible stage presence and musicality, like affirm that,
Yeah.
that must have been incredibly validating.
Yeah. And speaking of validation, that leads us to the album title.
Yes.
It seems like a really simple choice,
Right.
but it's actually really significant.
It is.
What do you make of her decision to use Rosie,
Right.
which is what her close friends and family call her for the album title?
I think it's this deliberate choice to break down that wall
Right.
between the global superstar and the person behind the music.
Right.
Like by using Rosie, she's inviting us into a more intimate space.
Yeah.
Signaling that this album is a reflection of her true self, not just a carefully crafted persona.
Yeah. It's like she's saying, this is me, flaws, and I'm ready to share that with you.
Yeah, and there's a vulnerability in that. That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And it ties back to that idea of using music as therapy.
Exactly.
She's not just processing these emotions for herself, but she's sharing them with the world.
Yes.
And creating a space
For connection.
for connection and empathy.
Yeah.
This is already so insightful.
Totally.
And I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
It's clear that this solo journey was about so much more than just releasing new music.
Right.
It was about self-discovery, creative exploration,
Yes.
and finding the courage to be vulnerable.
For sure.
I can't wait to dive deeper into how all of this translates into the music itself. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about how R is like more than an album.
Totally.
It's like a statement of self-discovery.
Yeah.
And the choice to use Rosie,
Right.
her personal nickname for the title, just like reinforces that.
It does.
And that connection and vulnerability is so evident in the lyrics.
It is.
It's like she's having a conversation with the listener,
Right.
sharing her innermost thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
But how did this approach to songwriting,
Right.
this like disgustingly honest approach, as she called it, how did that actually manifest in the music?
Well, let's take Gone, for example.
Okay.
It's both musically and lyrically striking.
Okay.
Like, the song starts with this sparse, almost melancholic piano melody.
Yeah.
And it creates the sense of vulnerability right from the start.
Right away.
And then her vocals come in, layered and echoing, almost as if she's singing to herself.
Wow.
Processing this painful experience.
Yeah, it's so different from the high energy.
Yeah.
In your face.
Yeah.
Sound we're used to hearing from BLACKPINK.
Exactly.
This is like introspective.
Yeah.
Almost fragile in a way.
It is.
And that fragility is what makes it so powerful.
Absolutely.
She's not trying to hide the pain or pretend she's over it.
Right.
She's letting us into that like raw space.
The raw, vulnerable space where heartbreak resides.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so relatable.
It's like she's giving a voice to something we've all felt.
Yes.
But haven't been able to express.
So eloquently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And musically, the choices she's making really support that vulnerability.
They do.
Instead of big bombastic production, she's opting for a more stripped back sound that just lets the emotion shine through.
Right, and that's a hallmark of the entire album.
Yeah.
Like, there's a deliberate shift away from the maximalist production.
Of some of BLACKPINK's hits?
Yes, towards a more organic, intimate soundscape.
I like that.
You can hear it in the use of acoustic guitar, the delicate piano melodies, the layered harmonies that create a sense of intimacy.
Wow.
It's as if she's inviting us into her personal space, her emotional landscape.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how those musical choices mirror the lyrical themes.
They do.
She's not just singing about vulnerability.
Right.
She's embodying it.
Exactly.
In the sound of the music.
And that attention to detail, that intentional crafting of sound and emotion, that's something she likely honed during her collaboration with Bruno Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Think about his music.
It's always
so meticulously produced, every note serving a purpose.
Wow.
Working with him must have been like a masterclass in sonic storytelling.
And you can hear that influence in her.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about pretty melodies and catchy hooks.
Right.
There's a depth and sophistication to the production.
There is.
That elevates the emotional impact.
Exactly. Take On the Ground, for example.
Yeah.
There's a real blend of influences happening there.
Like what?
You have the acoustic guitar that hints at folk music, the soaring vocal melodies that remind us of classic pop, and then that driving beat that brings in a contemporary edge.
Oh, wow.
It's a testament to her growth as a musician that she can seamlessly blend these elements to create something that feels both familiar and fresh.
It's like she's taken everything she's learned from her time with BLACKPINK.
Right.
All those years of training and performing.
Yes.
And like distilled it
into this unique sonic identity.
Yeah.
And it's an identity that's both personal and ambitious.
It's not about erasing her past or rejecting the pop sensibilities that made her famous.
Exactly.
It's about building on those foundations.
Yes, and infusing them with her own unique perspective, her own lived experiences.
And that's what makes this album so compelling.
Right.
It's not just a collection of well-crafted pop songs.
Yeah.
It's a journey of self-discovery, musically and emotionally.
Absolutely. And it's a journey that resonates with listeners.
Yeah.
Because it speaks to universal human experiences.
Right.
The search for identity, the complexities of relationships, the courage to be vulnerable.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It has.
We've gone from like the big picture of Rosé's decision to go solo.
Right.
To the nuances of her songwriting.
Yeah.
And the sonic landscape of the album.
For sure.
But there's one thing I'm still curious about. We've talked about how R is like a sonic journal of self-discovery.
Yeah.
And how Rosé's collaboration with Bruno Mars like might have influenced her creative process. But I'm curious about how this whole solo experience, the challenges and the triumphs, how did that change her as an artist?
Yeah, it's clear that this album was like a catalyst for immense personal growth. Like, she faced the daunting task of stepping outside of her comfort zone, embracing vulnerability in her songwriting, and navigating the uncharted waters of solo artistry. And through those challenges, she emerged with this newfound sense of confidence and a deeper understanding of her own artistic voice.
It's like she went into this process as ROSÉ from BLACKPINK. And came out as Rosie the artist.
Totally.
Individual.
Yeah.
And that evolution is like palpable in the music.
It is.
And I think one of the most significant takeaways for her was like the power of authenticity.
Oh, for sure.
By stripping away like the layers of persona and presenting herself with such honesty.
Yeah.
She not only connected with listeners on a deeper level.
Totally.
But like she also empowered herself to embrace her true self.
Yes, both as a musician and a person.
It's almost as if by being so open and vulnerable in her music, she gave herself permission to be more fully herself. In like every aspect of her life.
That's beautiful.
And it's inspiring to see an artist like ROSÉ who's already achieved so much success. Take this kind of risk to push herself creatively and emotionally. It's a reminder that like growth and evolution are ongoing processes.
Yeah, they are.
No matter where you are in your journey.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been so enlightening.
It has been.
We uncovered how ROSÉ used her solo debut album, R, as a platform for self-discovery, vulnerability, and artistic growth. We explored the sonic landscape of the album.
Yes.
The influence of her collaboration with Bruno Mars.
For sure.
And the impact of her decision to embrace authenticity.
And we've learned that even global superstars grapple with the same human experiences as the rest of us. The search for identity, the courage to be vulnerable, and the desire to connect with others on a meaningful level.
It's been a true deep dive.
It has.
Into the heart of an artist's journey.
Totally.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
When you listen to ROSÉ's music or any artist, remember there's a story behind every note, every lyric, every sonic choice. Take the time to explore those stories, to connect with the human experience behind the art.
Yes.
And you'll find your appreciation for the music deepening in ways you never imagined.
That's beautiful. And always remember that vulnerability is not a weakness. It's a superpower. It's through our vulnerability that we connect most deeply with ourselves and with the world around us.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of ROSÉ's solo debut.
Thank you for listening.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep listening, and keep embracing the power of music to move and inspire.